The Toronto Raptors may have just tricked the NBA. Everybody wrote this team off. Oh, they'll maybe make the play-in. They're not very good. They're not going to make the playoffs. But they just went out and made a statement against the Atlanta Hawks, dropping 140 on a team that people are going to say are the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. And this Raptors team really reminds me a lot of the Pacers last year in a weak Eastern Conference. They have a ton of depth. They got 4 guys that could legit average 20 a game this year, and then their bench is very deep as well. And like we said, nobody gave this team props. When we're talking about them in the offseason, everybody's kind of brushing them to the side. I made a couple videos in the comments where like, yeah, right, they're going to make the play-in at best. But with Scottie Barnes hopefully taking another leap, you still have Barrett, who's still relatively young. You have Emmanuel Quickley, who was hurt last year, never really got to show what he was made of. And then you also bring in Brandon Ingram, a former All-Star who's still just 29. That gives you a very, very nice core to build upon, not including the bench that has a couple of guys that I think are some of the most underrated players in the league. And speaking of underrated, the most underrated scoring wing in the league might be Brandon Ingram. People forget how good this dude is. The Raptors here are drawing up sets just to get in the ball. It's a simple down screen from Poeltl. He's going to be coming off of the screen, getting free from Reza Shea to a good screen from Poeltl. And now he's attacking Porzingis one-on-one, gets right to the rim, and finishes with that right hand after a ball fake. Then once again, coming off the stagger, and he's going to go right at Tingus Pingus once again, and Porzingis is going to be a liability in the paint. And Brandon Ingram's just going to get the easy mid-range jumper, which is literally where he lives right here against Porzingis, because Porzingis thinks he's going to drive and finish with the left. He finished with 16 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 26 minutes while shooting 7 of 16 from the field, 0 of 2 from beyond the arc. Did have 5 turnovers, but the Raptors were playing fast last night. But when it came down to it, in the half court, they went to their 6'8 wing with that 7'3 wingspan that pretty much cannot be contested in the half court. And then look at this right here. Are you kidding me? A little ball fake to himself in transition nearly makes Nickeil Alexander-Walker touch the earth and goes up and finishes with that left hand like a playground move mid-game. Getting downhill once again, finishing with the right hand off of the miss, and then getting the steal, using his wingspan to force disruptions in the Hawks offense, leading to more transition points. Barrett was very good last night as well, and he thrives in this fast-paced Raptors offense. Now, the Raptors as a whole were 6 of 25 from 3 last night. Still scored 138 points. Barrett, though, was 2 for 4, so he was above average, definitely, for the team. He finished with 25 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in just 30 minutes. A big-time performance for a limited run out there. Normally he's getting 34-35, 9 of 12 from the field, was 2 of 4 from 3 like we mentioned, and the playmaking was on point. That was something we talked about this summer, that if Barrett continues to get that playmaking down, he's going to be nearly unstoppable, and he did last night. That and efficiency, and once he gets those things down, he's deadly. This right here is the perfect read, just dropping it off to Scottie Barnes as Jalen Johnson steps a little bit too high, coming off this screen. Dyson Daniels tries to fight through, but leaving the window there to bounce it right to Scottie. Scottie's going to turn and make the correct play, feeding Jakob Poeltl for the layup. But at that point, it was a 30-point rout. And how did they do this? They got out in transition and ran. And with the young guys and the depth that this Raptors team has, it's a fantastic formula to do so. Right here, just in the right place at the right time, Mamu hits the Euro step and then finds him right under the rim. And then once again, he and Scottie working in transition. This time we're looking at Scottie, though, getting the pass there. He did have a beautiful floor game last night. Now, he had a rough preseason, which had a lot of people worried, but look at him getting out and running here. Jamal Shed kicking it up the court. He finished with 22 points, 9 assists, like I just said, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block, and did that on 9 of 14 shooting from the field. Did not attempt a 3. And honestly, if you're Scottie, that's not the worst thing in the world, right? He's shooting like 27% from 3. Don't even worry about it, bud. We'll take it from here. And then getting out in transition at 6'9", with that 7'3 wingspan, he is a big dude coming downhill. Jalen Johnson makes a business decision right there. And then once again, out in transition, he's going to go get the dunk. They killed him in transition. And this is beautiful. This is the beauty of Scottie Barnes, if you will, being able to be that short roll playmaker where Barrett just drops it off to him, and then now he's got a 4-on-3 and makes the right play. I mean, it's an easy play to make, but it's the right play, finding Jakob Poeltl, who's cutting right to the rim with a little reverse layup. And then once again, just the amount of times that the Raptors beat these dudes down in transition. Emmanuel Quickley helped with this as well, because living up to his last name, he loves to get out and run. Beautiful pass right here to Mamu as a defensive breakdown occurs. He only finished with 13 points, but did have 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and did so in 28 minutes on 5 of 12 shooting from the field. Did not make a 3 in 7 attempts, which is very unfortunate. And Quickley's a guy that I think also becomes underrated because he didn't play last year, really. Only got 33 games in a Raptors uniform last year, and now that hopefully he can have a full, healthy season, he can get back to where he was, when that OG Anunoby trade happened, and he was viewed as maybe the best piece from that trade, getting downhill, getting to his signature floater. And then Jakob Poeltl, we got to talk about him as well. He had a pretty solid night. Just signed that 4-year, $104 million extension, and he's looking like it's going to pay off. Look at him getting out in transition, throwing the lob to RJ Barrett. I don't know what he's feeling like, but look at him being a point center, running the floor and finding RJ Barrett. He finished with 14.6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block in 22 minutes. Was 7 of 8 from the field, but he did have 6 fouls, so fouling out. We got to work on that, touching too much there, but for Poeltl, just being in the right spot at the right time. They're going to run 4 around 1 with Scottie Barnes on the perimeter. You can be in that dunker spot, just making smart cuts like right here. Very high IQ player. And then look at him getting out and running in transition, catching the lob from Scottie Barnes, looking athletic and stuff. And then we got to talk about Grady Dick as well. Like I said, this Raptors team is deep. There's a bunch of dudes to talk about. And for Grady, the chop fake, 1 dribble, knockdown, pretty much automatic. Fantastic shooter, as you know, going into year 3 here. Finished with 21 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, was a plus 18 in 24 minutes, shot 6 of 10 from the field and 2 of 4 from 3, but he wasn't even that impactful from beyond the arc. He was hitting mid-ranges. Like, that is a really tough shot right there that he just drains. And then look at him getting out and running. The common denominator here for the Raptors was the transition scoring. They outscored the Hawks by 23 points in transition, had 34 transition points, while the Hawks had just 11 getting out and running. And Jamal Shead was a huge piece to this. This is in the half court, finding RJ Barrett in the middle of that zone, but he was the transition leader. Look at him kicking it ahead. He knows where he's going with this ball before he even gets the outlet pass. And then once again, finding Grady Dick, good catch, and the and one almost there in transition. 10 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal in 19 minutes. Jamal Shead was a very underrated pickup in last year's draft. Shot 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. Terrible defense right here. I don't know what Trae Young's doing, just absolutely falls asleep. But on top of being a good floor general, is a fantastic defender, and he is a nightmare if you're coming across half court with the ball and you see him waiting on him. Half the time, he doesn't even wait till you get across half court. He's picking you up full court. As for Ochai, bit of a disappointing performance. 4 points, 3 boards, an assist, and 2 steals. Shot 2 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, but I'm still a big-time believer in Ochai Agbaji. Look at him getting out and running, as was, like I said, the theme all night long. They just ran him out of the gym, but he can be a really good 3-and-D wing. Going back to the Pacers comparison, maybe thinking like an Aaron Nesmith, a guy that can develop into that role. And then they still have Jakob Poeltl, a guy who didn't even play due to illness, and they won without him, but he was their rookie, their first-round pick from last year's class, digging into that Baylor pipeline. He averaged 8.6 points a game, 3.1 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and a steal in 22 minutes, shot 41% from the field and 35% from 3 on 4 attempts. So doing it without him, who I expect him to have a big-time sophomore season, was very impressive. The rookie, Colin Murray Boyles, didn't even play. I was very outspoken against that draft pick at 9, but he's going to help out their defensive identity at the end of the day. He didn't even play. So yeah, the Raptors look good. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy any point. With that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.